Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 2000 Saturn SW2. Up front is a 1.9 liter inline 4, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this SW2 for two reasons. First of all, anytime I get to drive a Saturn, I want to do it because they're not making any more. Saturn as a company went out of business in 2010, and so we have a finite amount here on the planet. The second reason is the fact that it's a wagon and it's manual, so I know I'm going to enjoy the driving experience. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 1.9 liter under the hood. Well, because this is an SW2, that means it gets the dual cam engine. So they also made an SW1 that had a single cam engine, but the dual cam is really what you want. It's just peppier, it revs freer, and offers a lot better of a driving experience than the single cam. So if you're looking for one of these to buy, I would highly recommend the dual cam. It's just better in every single way, and my personal favorite. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. Feels fantastic. Love shifting this little wagon. The clutch is light, the throw is nice and forgiving, very notchy into gear, very much a import style feeling rather than an American market vehicle feeling. And I like that, you know, coming from Honda Civics and Toyota Corollas and Mazda 323s and vehicles like that, it feels more akin to those than it does like a Cavalier or whatever else America was producing in the year 2000. So I like it quite a bit. Last but not least, of course, the SW2 is front-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the SW2? It is lovely. Now, this particular vehicle has 126,000 miles on it, and I'm sure it's worn in a couple different spots. There's some rattles, beeps, and squeaks, but the transmission is fantastic. As I said, very predictable, very comfortable to get behind the wheel of. That dual cam is buzzy and entertaining. Visibility is good. Ride quality is not wonderful. It is a little jittery, a little bit bouncy, but again, it does have 126,000 miles on it, and this was always an economy car, so suspension was really there to keep you off the ground, and that's about it. So it doesn't make any more promises beyond that. I think part of the allure of these cars is that they're also pretty affordable, especially nowadays. And so you can drive it a little bit more manic and not care as much. And you get to use the entire tachometer without breaking any rules, like I'll show you now. Woo, chirping second. Now we're up to the speed limit. It's a really, really lovely time. It's that sort of low stakes fun. Because yeah, you just saw me beat the snot out of this thing, and I just got up to the speed limit, and now because I started talking and I'm focusing on other things, I fell down below the speed limit. If anything, you'll get pulled over for not staying with the flow of traffic. And I like that. I like sort of being that underdog and being able to rev it out and experience 100% of the car without, you know, risking a felony. And this does have a slight exhaust leak, but I actually think it kind of helps. There's some burbles going on. Let's turn it around here. Like, that doesn't sound bad. You're all right, SW2. You're all right. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. So off to the left is my fuel and speedometer, and off to the right is the tachometer and coolant temperature. We do have cruise control on the vehicle. The SW2s were the higher trimmed or higher optioned vehicles as well. So not only that dual cam motor, but it got niceties like cruise control, like power windows and power locks that we'll talk about here in a second. So very nice to see that. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent as well as our interior dimmer switch. And moving on to the door, we have our power locks, latch to get in and out, and our little door cup, as well as this nice fabric on the door. Moving into the center, we get 2 climate control vents. We have our Saturn radio. This does also encompass a CD player, which was very nice for the year 2000. We have our climate controls. Off to the left is the temperature. In the center is the fan speed, and off to the right is where to send it. We have a 12-volt outlet as well as a little cup holder up in front of the shifter. However, the cup holder behind the shifter is actually the star of the show because it passes the big friggin' bottle test. So we do have the shifter in the center. Like I said, tall and mighty, very good shifter throw into gear. Big fan of that. And then we have our power windows, power mirrors, and our window locks. So very nice here in the center. Again, the SW2 having more niceties than the SW1, and that's clear here. We have the handbrake, center console, and the seats. The seats are cloth. They are definitely budget-oriented seats, and this is kind of the end of the era of GM having really nice seats. Saturn never really got like the luxury experience seat, but they are still comfortable enough, and I still maintain the fact that GM was on top when it came to seat comfort from really the late 70s up through the mid 2000s. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back of the Saturn SW2. We'll first get a look at the seats before we actually step in. Again, they are the same pattern as the seats up front, so very nice there. But squeezing into the back, as you can see, not a whole ton of space. These were never very big cars. They were never meant to be the immediate family truckster, although I'm sure they had plenty of family duties. Just for an American car, this was still definitely very compact. But you drive any other car from this era in this segment, Honda Civics, Toyota Corollas, even the Cavaliers, you're going to have the same backseat experience, which just isn't a very good one. So, downside, maybe, but also that was the class of car. If I were to judge every car on their ability to land fighter jets on the roof, I would be disappointed in 9 out of 10 of my videos. So, you got to keep it realistic. This was a compact car at a cheap price point, and so the back seat suffered a little bit. We don't get any climate vents back here. We don't even really get a center console or anything like that, but we do have window switches, kind of like that. They're very big and chunky, which I like. So that's the back seat of the SW2, but let's now hop into the trunk and talk about the cargo space that comes with the Wagon. All right, coming around the back of the SW2, we do have a keyhole here. Pop it up like that, and there you go. This was the big benefit of going with the Wagon as opposed to the sedan or the coupe of the era. Although the sedan and coupe have decent trunks, this is on a whole nother level. This is a New York City apartment on 4 wheels comparatively. So absolutely love that. Tons and tons of cargo space, as you can see. However, we can come around here. There's a lever back there that you could pull. All of this comes down. So now we have a completely flat loading floor. Absolutely love that. Even more space in the back of the Wagon. And I did that by just pressing this right here. So you could fold these back up. There you go, back into 4-seater or 5-seater mode, and you still have plenty of storage space. So absolutely love that about the SW2. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I do love the look of the SW2. I think it's just because it's a Wagon, and I just love Wagon versions of pretty much anything. So big fan there. But something you might notice about this particular Saturn SW2 is the right front fender. So, as you'll notice, it's cracked. That normally doesn't happen on other cars. The reason it happened here is because this car actually has a plastic body. And that was one of the selling points of Saturn. Not only were they budget oriented and plastic was cheaper than metal at the time, but they advertised the fact that they were dent resistant. And you're right, they don't dent. You can't dent a early S-Series Wagon, or any S-Series for that matter. What you can do, however, is crack it. And so if the car gets too cold and hit on impact, you don't get a dent, it shatters. And that's what has happened here. So these were known for having plastic bodies. I once reviewed a Saturn View that had the license plate of Tupperware. That's kind of the joke. I reviewed an SL2 that had a Tupperware sticker on it. These were plastic cars, and so that's very evident here with the front fender. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving another Saturn SW2? Well, this car has been absolutely lovely, and honestly, this was just an excuse for me to get back behind the wheel of one of these. I love the manual transmission, I love the dual cam, and I love the practicality that comes with the station wagon. And I think we just don't really get cars like this anymore. Yes, we still get manual cars, and there's a couple station wagons here and there, but this was practical, enjoyable, and affordable. You don't often find that in the same Venn diagram, let alone also a car that's reliable. These are pretty reliable. The little 1.9 liters, although they were only ever made for Saturn, they ended up actually really being reliable engines. So my hat is off to this car. It's really everything you need and nothing that you don't. Just don't get it too cold and hit it into something, because yeah, the body's gonna shatter off around you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Dayton for letting me borrow his SW2 for today's video. He's been absolutely fantastic. Not only have we filmed several of his vehicles here today, but last summer we reviewed a bunch of his vehicles as well, so I'm very, very appreciative. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.